Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Nicole and I help women with digestive diseases or disorders or ostomies navigate through their disease or disorder by offering holistic and alternative approaches to add to their wellness routine. Now today's subject is going to be one, I wouldn't say it's controversial. I would just say that the issues surrounding it are controversial. You know, we're in really weird times, as people say, and maybe it's not always so weird. I think a lot of the issues that are going on in today's society have probably been here before or have been here for a long time. It's just, with the advancement of technology, we're able to hear more about them now. More people are coming out, more people are saying things, more quote unquote conspiracies are becoming true. And it just has to do with your well-being as someone who is taking in all this information, right? I just feel like we as people, human beings, have never lived in this time before where we are experiencing all this information coming at us. We didn't have this technology if you grew up in the 80s like I did, or the 90s even. And so to get this information being thrown at us in all these different directions, from the TV to our phones, with having on our phones multiple sources of information, all the social media platforms, people messaging, calling, emailing. I mean, we're just like bombarded all day. Every day, there's a ding on our phone or on our computer, and it's just nonstop. A lot of times we're finding out something that's going on that we just didn't expect to hear, or that is causing us fear and anxiety. And when you live in these places of fear and anxiety, you further perpetuate your disease or your disorder. And this is the problem. And I am not saying go live under a rock, don't listen to what the media is saying, or don't listen to all these things. But at some point, you have to disconnect. You have to put your phone down. You have to turn the TV off. You have to turn the radio off and just disconnect from some of the information, because it's information overload. Furthermore, and I guess the more controversial part of this is that, like, Facebook, for example, and I only use Facebook in my respect because I'm of the age where I am, I'm actually 44 today. Today's my birthday. But I'm 44 and I'm on Facebook, and I'm connected to so many different groups of people because if you're like me, you have everybody and anybody under the sun, from complete left to complete right and in between. And you see the post, you see this side saying this and this side saying that. Right now we're in very tense times because of the election coming up and because of all the things that are associated with those politics in general and everything that's been going on. So the controversial part, I think, is that, like, we forget, I wouldn't say we forget, everybody has a different view. You have a view, I have a view, they have a view, we all have perspectives, we've all lived different lives, we all have different cultures, we all have different backgrounds, we all grew up in different areas of the country or in other countries. We all are so different. And when we're so different, we all have different perspectives, and it's just not fair to us to cut up on the way other people think. And it's one thing to post your opinions. It's your Facebook, it's your social media platform. You should be able to say what you want to a point. I mean, unless it's like super, like, just, again, like things that should not be said. And you know what I'm saying, things that I wouldn't even say here, but things that society shouldn't talk about, right? Okay. But as far as politics and religion, I believe you should be able to talk about them on your platform. You should be able to talk about whatever you want that's safe, right, for other people. If you are somebody who is triggered by those things, that's something that you have to figure out within yourself. You're right. You can unfriend people. You can take a break from that platform. You can delete that platform altogether if it's too much for you. And I encourage that if that's something that you feel like doing. But we can't be mad at somebody for posting that they are voting for one candidate or the other. We can't be mad at that. We can't take that offensively. That's their views. No, if you're somebody who just can't agree with the other side and you can't agree to disagree, then by all means, do what you need to do. And everybody is on their own journey. Everybody is learning still. We're constantly evolving as human beings. Everything is changing. We're constantly hearing this and hearing that, like I said before. And so we are changing our beliefs often. And while that doesn't mean going from one side to the other, we still all have these beliefs. And so I think it's just really important to be patient with yourself, be patient with other people. If it's bothering you, find a way to cope, whatever that way is for you to deal with that situation. But telling somebody else they're wrong is, I don't think, the greatest idea. So I'm just asking for kindness and compassion for you to give to other people. The other point I wanted to make in all this is that we are resilient beings, right? If you are somebody like me or that has a digestive disease or disorder or an ostomy, you have been through a lot, right? And most people have been through a lot. There's always something. And again, this is another perspective. Some people think that their life is harder than the others, and we shouldn't by no means compare each other's lives to each other's. But we do all have this perspective of, wow, I've been through a lot, or wow, that person's been through a lot. And it may be different for every level, but we can all say that we have all been through something in our lives that's traumatic, health-wise, relationship-wise, family-wise, living-wise. We've all been victim to something, right? And so we're resilient. We're as resilient beings as we are. We need to take this opportunity to see what's going on and not live under a rock, but also decide how much of this should we be looking at? How much should we be taking in of the news, of information that just doesn't feel good? And it's, like I said, it's not living under a rock. It's taking care of yourself, because fear does keep us ill. Anxiety keeps us ill. If we are so worried about the economy, or we're worried about who's going to be the next president, or we're worried about this country bombing that country, we are getting ourselves worked up over something that is essentially out of our control. And you may say, oh, well, if you vote and you did this, it's going to change things. That's your opinion. I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree. However, you have to kind of discern from that statement of, what am I doing in this moment though? What in this moment can I change what is going on over there? I can't change who was going to be this person's running mate in the next election. You can't. You can post about it on Facebook and keep saying whatever it is, but it's not going to change. It is what it is. So I just encourage you to take a step back and realize, like, hey, my body is what's important at this moment. Taking care of me and taking care of myself is what's most important at this moment, because you can't do anything or change anything if you're sick and you're ill and you're anxious. And here are 5 ways that I believe during these kind of uncertain / questionable times that we can take care of ourselves better to kind of mitigate the feelings and emotions that are coming on through society. 1, establish a routine. or get up in the morning and having your coffee, or getting up in the morning and making your bed. Have somewhat of a routine. This can make you feel a little more in control of at least what's going on in your life. 2, practicing mindfulness. So engaging in some techniques like deep breathing or meditation, really just calming your mind down, especially when you're kind of, feeling that anxiety come up. I know it's really hard to do, but it will make you feel better. Another thing is, keep those contacts with the people that you do feel safe with. If you're somebody who's feeling triggered by people who are on the opposite side of your beliefs, then you may want to limit that contact somewhat if that's what makes you feel better and that's what works for you. Maybe just have a conversation with that person so that they don't feel that, that's just pulling you apart, but just that, hey, I know you believe in this, X, Y, and Z. My beliefs are firmly, A, B, and C. We don't see eye to eye right now. I don't want to have this conversation with you. I'm just going to take a little break, but not to worry. We'll still be friends. And maybe it doesn't have to go that far. Maybe it could be, all right, hey, I know you have these beliefs, but I think in our conversations from now on, let's leave that out of it. Let's leave the politics, the religion, the government. Let's leave society structure out of what's going on right now, like between you and I. Let's you and I just talk about what we would normally talk about. That can help. And then the other thing is, maybe you can have conversations with these people, but just know your limits. If you start to feel anxious and it's coming up and you're getting too emotional over it, then, try one of these other techniques so you can kind of let go. But if there are people that are supportive, if there are people that, either aren't going to engage with you on those things, there are people that are on the same kind of thought patterns as you, then by all means make sure you engage in healthy activity or have the safe conversations. If there's nobody in your social circle around in your area, there's FaceTime, there's Zoom meetings, there's Google Meets, there's ways to stay connected with people so that you can feel safe and supported. Another technique is limiting your media intake. So you have to, like I said, you have to be really careful. There's so much information out there. I mean, it's coming in every direction. Some of it's news that might be legit. Some of it's news that might not be. And I'll say this too. I mean, even the news, even the news that's on TV, you kind of got to be careful with that too, because if you just watch this channel, you're only being fed this information. And it's all based on who's paying those people to say the things that they want them to say. And so I encourage you just to be careful with what you're watching. And especially, like on YouTube or other social media networks. I mean, any person can go online and say anything that they want and post the video. I mean, I'm posting this video and I can say whatever I want to a limit. Feeling anxious is to exert yourself physically. So if it's not going to the gym, it's going for a walk. And I talk about this all the time, but I mean, activity and movement is so important. I mean, we get stale and stagnant by staying put, and our body needs to move. Our mind is so connected. We need to get that physical exercise in and physical movement. So really what I'm trying to say is just be mindful, be patient with other people, engaging in these back-to-back Facebook rants and raves. If you can handle it, then you can handle it. If you're someone that it bothers you and you feel your chest tightening up and you feel the anxiety kicking in, that might be your body's way of telling you, like, hey, let's just get away from here for a minute. I think even the people that have worked on themselves the most can still feel triggered, especially with all the things that we're hearing and seeing and going through right now. So be patient with yourself and be patient with others, and just really take the time to get some self-care in, because being fearful is only going to keep you sick. Being fearful is only going to make you sicker. And our bodies are important. So take care of you. Thank you.